Some guys, will approach the girl and then start burdening her with these heavy questions, especially the broad ones. It's like, so what are your passions in life? What do you think about the Trump situation? No person wants to get burdened in social interactions. That's one thing I always tell my students. You want to keep things light. You want to keep things fairly surface level, especially in the early stages. Doing a little light shopping, hanging out.
Doing errands.
All right, that's smart. This place actually, I don't know what the fuck it was before, but now it's like a Korean mart. I don't know if that's where you were there.
No, I didn't like it.
Oh, well, it's like a Korean grocery store. So good dumplings, good kimchi.
What up, Casanovas? Before we continue, I just wanted to let you know that we decided to push back the release date of our course, Foolproof Approach, to December 8th because we want to make it extra awesome and add a bunch of cool new stuff. So again, December 8th, it's going to teach you everything you need to know about approaching women. And if you want to be in the first to get notified and stay in the loop about launch specials, then join the VIP list and sign up in the link in the description below. All right, now let's get back into it.
Of course, as things evolve, right? And if you're on a date or an Insta date, and it depends on the girl and blah, 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 but you can get more in depth. But initially, you want to keep things relatively surface, and you don't want to go too in depth on any one topic simply because it's too much. It's too much for an initial interaction. Not to mention that if you run through a variety of conversational topics, it feels like you and the person have interacted for longer than you have. It gives this impression that, we've covered this range of topics, right? We must have been conversing for hours, right? We touched on the Trump situation, and we touched on the museum in Spain, and we touched on Pepsi commercials, right? And we touched on hair products. And I mean, generally, you don't want to get too hung up or too technical about any one topic. People often don't gauge how receptive or how engaged the other person is regarding a certain topic.
So my father's from the south. Do you know Calabria? Are you familiar with Italy? Okay, so you know how Italy's shaped like a boot, they say, right? So he's from the top of the foot.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And my mother, she's from central Italy. Like, Rome? Of course, everybody knows Rome, right? So that's where she's from.
Ah, really nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
You have to see, are they asking questions? Are they genuinely curious? Are they interested? So you're not just like pushing the conversation on them, right? Imposing this conversational thread, but instead calibrating. Not to mention that you don't want to let things get too heated when you're talking about something. You don't want to get too argumentative, right? It's okay to have some healthy, fun, flirty debates, right? And again, things can evolve as the conversation progresses. You don't want to get into this like frame battle with the girl or try to like prove a point or drive some principle home, right? That's not what this is about. It's about keeping things pretty light, fun, fluffy, flirty. So you're pretty much like grew up here, whitewashed.
Yeah.
All right. I would not have guessed Jewish.
I have bar mitzvah and everything.
You look pretty waspy. Okay. So you
I
still,
get that a lot.
yeah?
Yeah.
Well, because yeah.
Not a huge nose, not the stereotype.
Not a huge nose. And man, generally just ease up on this whole like intellectual, stimulating, witty conversation, right? A lot of guys like to attach or create an identity around that, right? Like they're the sophisticated, intellectual, cultured, well-traveled guy, I used to get really hung up on this kind of stuff, right? When I was younger, verbal game was really my strength and, something I really hung on to. I created almost this identity around being that like really smart guy, and I would like recite all these facts and blah, 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 blah. And it's too much. It's too much. It's almost like you're trying to put on this facade, and it keeps you in impression mode, by the way, right? Not to mention that you realize that a lot of girls are not that evolved. People in general, but they don't, first of all, it's too much. Second of all, a lot of this stuff just burdens people and goes over their heads, and it just puts the girl off. It actually starts to kill the attraction, right? Like you're making these witty remarks or jokes or these like cultural references, you know, and the girl's just like, what? So I realized over time that with like, you know, I would try to gauge, is this girl, you know, younger, perhaps not as, you know, cultured, perhaps not as evolved or enlightened. And I don't want this to sound condescending, but you have to be kind of realistic, right? Who your audience is. And if the girl is more simple, then dumb it the fuck down. Dumb it the fuck down.
I said we're going to the island, sister. Everything gonna be alright.
Which again plays into this whole idea of it's not about what you say, it's the vibe you bring. But man, just keep it chill, all right? Just keep it chill. Talk about some like basic things. You don't have to get into like politics and the socioeconomic situation in the Philippines and their new dictator president that has come and decided to hunt down all the drug dealers. This is actually true, by the way. Look, it's all a delicate balance.
Is there some TLC going on?
What is that?
TLC?
What? Tender
No.
hair?
You don't know this.
What do you mean?
Wow. Rob is a guy who's fine. Also known as a... You never heard this? How old are you?
There are a lot of gray areas and nuances, right? And there are no hard and fast rules. And I don't want you to start like, you know, acting out a certain algorithm where it's like, okay, this girl, that girl, okay, she's artsy, more art, okay, she's a young professional. What do I know about law and accounting and finance? Oh, wait, no, she's a young college girl. What do I know about like rave culture and MDMA and frat parties? Man, just roll with it. Don't get in your head about it. You'll learn how to calibrate over time.
Why aren't you wearing your leather jacket?
I'm not cold.
You gotta complete the whole bad bitch look. The sacrifices we make.
I'm not a bad bitch though.
It's all a front!
It is. It really is. How did you know?
She fucking deceived us all.
And keep in mind that connecting with a girl on a very intellectual, cultural level is something that is a bonus, right? So when you start meeting girls, when you start recognizing the girls that you really vibe and connect with on all those levels, then you can adapt to them, and then you can maybe turn on a little bit more of the cultural, intellectual side of you. But otherwise, you want to just like, feel it out, keep it simple, keep it light and fluffy, and build on that.